Hello friends, so this session is about sort transform. Before proceeding into any complex transformations that we have in data flow tasks, I prefer going through the sort transform for us first. So today we'll be looking at how we can have a sort transform in our data flow task. It's pretty simple, so we'll walk through this one very quickly. What I have here is a SQL Server table, AdventureWorks 2008 R2 database, and the table is transaction history. So it hosts all the transactions for products based upon the date transaction. There is a transaction date, and there is a reference order ID, which is actually accumulated in this table. So let's have a demo of sort transform very briefly. uh, I pull out a data flow task, and the next thing is within this data flow task, let me pull out an OLTP source and create a connection quickly. So we are putting it to 2000 R2 database, and we'll be using production transaction history table. And let's configure this. So the source is your OLTP transaction history table, and next we pull out the sort transform here. So if you take a look, we are connecting this is your sort transform. So to configure this, it's very simple. You just select the rows which you want, the column names which you want to sort by. So here I will be sorting by first the transaction date, and that in the descending order of each latest transactions first. This determines your sort order, the first column that you want to sort it by. The next thing in the next column I am using is the order reference order ID. So that I'll be doing it in ascending order. So if you take a look, this transformation is will happen is as per a very simple query that we have here. It will be taking place in terms of this query, actually this SQL Server query. So order by transaction date descending, and reference order ID ascending. So for each day, the latest transactions will be populated and based upon the ascending order IDs for each of the days. So that's the plan. So we have it in this order for you. Also, you have an option to remove the duplicate sort values. So if you are not quite sure of your database integrity, in the table, so you can check this and say that all the duplicate rows which come up, while sorting, will be removed. So that's the sort transform, and we will be loading this into a flat file destination. We'll be out extracting. So let's configure this one pretty quickly. Okay, let me put this to C drive, C folder, and just put a name, transaction details .txt. Let's call that the first, and this be the columns, and this be the column names. Okay, so we seem set, and this is the mapping that we have. Okay, so we have our sort transform configured, and let's run it. Let's run this one and see the results. Right, so if you see, we have a transaction details text file in my C folder. Let's take a look. Right, so if you take a look at the query, two 213400406. So let's just, yeah, 2134006. So basically it's as per the simple query that that you have. Now the next thing that, okay, let me just delete this and let me just delete this file and rerun this package. Please observe the execution. I mean, what I want to show you is, right, so if you have observed this, the sort, I mean, the flat file destination, I mean, the loading to the flat file will not take place before the sorting has been done. What I mean by this is very simple. Your sort transform is actually, and I mean, it's actually a asynchronous process. It's an asynchronous process wherein all the entire data from the table gets loaded into the memory, and then the SSIS sorts it out based upon the columns that you want, and then it further loads to the, I mean, destination. So it's actually for huge tables, it is going to impact performance. So you need to uh, know this. I mean, in terms, what you can do is actually, instead of this sort transform, you could write, I mean, the same query that you have, and you could write that in the source itself. So so that would be a better way than actually, instead of table or view, you say a SQL command, and then you just put this values. So then again, I mean, this would be a better way of loading this same data. And I mean, so you just need to remember why, if you at all a developer is not using sort transform, why is he not using it? Because it would actually it will actually add on to the memory overhead because of the mass data load on this on during the execution and the buffer, I mean, the cache memory. So that's one of the reasons why you would not go ahead and use sort transform. But yeah, it's useful to know. And for further, when we dig out to other detailed other transformations, we will get to know that there are places where sort transform is absolutely essential. I mean, before which I mean, only then you will be able to perform certain kinds of transformations. So that's a very simple demo for you for sort transform. I hope it's really useful to you. Thank you.